Hello and welcome to Life Relationships. My name is Mary and today we will be looking at communication in marriage. When we talk about communication in marriage, it can be challenging, and especially we've had issues whereby couples have been there for years, they've been together for years, but they still cannot be able to communicate effectively. What are some of the challenges that come with communication, and what is it that we need to do in order to have effective communication in our relationship? So to start with, when we talk about communication, what do we mean? When we talk about communication, it's at that point in time when you share whatever is it that is in your heart, in your mind, whatever is it that you feel about, and you share to the other person. And when this other person responds to you and they give you an answer, they listen to you, and you feel that they are there and they are empathizing with you and listening to you in a mindful way, then at that point in time, we can say that effective communication has happened or is happening between the two of you. And this brings about satisfaction and happiness even in your relationship or in your marriage. One thing that we need to know is that communication can make or break a relationship or a marriage even. When we are not able to communicate effectively with our spouse, then we are setting ourselves in for failure. And the reason as why I say this is because communication is not just mere communication. Not just looking at a person, listening to them what they are saying and not responding. Maybe even your body language, your physical, you're not there as they are talking to you, or whatever is it that they are saying to you, you're not concerned. So when we say and we talk about communication, it involves a lot. It is out of good communication that you're able to develop intimacy with your spouse. Every time you're able to open out, every time you're able to talk to your spouse in a way that you can share everything, then at this point in time, we say you become vulnerable. And it's only when you're vulnerable, you're able to vent out and talk about deep things and deep stuff to your spouse. And at this point in time, you're able to share out and you're able to feel safe and secure because there's nothing to hide. You've already shared whatever is it that was really hurting you deeply in your heart. And out of that, you develop closeness, you develop friendship with your spouse. And because of this kind of friendship, this spouse or this partner become your confidant or someone you can always rely on when it comes to difficulties or challenges that you are going through. So it's always important to ensure that your spouse, your husband, your wife, or be it someone you're dating and you're planning to get married, should always be that good friend, that person whom you can trust things with and you can always open up and share deep stuff with them, and they'll be there for you, help you out, listen to you, and listen in a mindful way. And one thing we need to put into consideration is that when we want to ensure that this communication is effective and it has grown in our relationship, it's always important to consider that this person, when they share their private stuff or when they share something that they feel it's hurting them, it's been a challenge to them, be there for them and you have helped them out. Remember that you're not supposed to go out and badmouth them. Speak out and talk to other friends about whatever it is that they have shared with you. You should always keep it as you should always be there for them. Be a confidant, someone they can count on, that whenever they share their things out with you, you will not go speaking to other men, speaking to other women about what is it that your dearest person shared with you. It's always important to put this into consideration because the challenge we have today, a man goes and shares something with their wife and the wife is all over sharing it with other people outside there. A woman go and share out something with their man, and the man is outside there talking ill about them. So this person is your friend, and one thing I normally say, if you want to have this person for the rest of your life, don't talk ill about each other. Always keep private things private. Whatever is it that this person wants you to keep it as whatever is it that they want you to maintain confidentiality in, ensure that you have done so. Whatever is it that this other person wants you to keep private, let it be private. It should not be for everyone. At that point in time, then you develop that friendship, and with time, you'll be there for each other, and you can count on each other. And as a result, trust comes in, and you're able to trust each other for whatever is it that each and every one of you is going through. We are going to look at some of the things that come and strain our communication, or some of the difficulties that come with communication. What is it that strain our communication when we are talking to one another? There are quite a number of things that come that strain our communication in relationship, and one of them is the differences between men and women. This is quite simple and may look so obvious, but the just way that we are wired, the way men are wired, the way women are wired, can be challenging, and it's quite hard for some people just to understand that this is the way men behave, this is the way ladies behave, or women behave. And once you get to understand how men behave, how women behave, then you'll be able to handle your spouse in a better way. One thing, as I talk about the difficulties that come with this communication, according to Gray, he says that men, the way they respond whenever a woman asks a man something, men will always take their time, silently think about it, and before they answer, they have to come up with a concrete answer before they can respond to their spouse. However, on the other side, women think out loud. And when a woman thinks out loud, we tend to share things even as we think and as we talk. As a result, we may mistakenly think that when we talk to men, and when they take their time and they don't respond to whatever is it that we are saying or we are asking them, we take it as an offense. And at times, we can think they are not interested in whatever is it that we are sharing with them, whatever is it that we are talking to them. And we may think they are ignoring us, they are not interested in whatever is it that they are asking. But instead, we need to understand how they are supposed to respond. And as a result, this can bring about conflict. Just because you don't understand, when a man speaks, when a man is asked something, how are they supposed to respond? You need to know that they take their time. Men take their time. It can be 1 hour, it can be a minute, it can be 2 days, 3 days, even a month before they respond, just because they don't have an answer yet. And as a result, we need to take our time and be patient and wait until they can come up with an answer. So it's always good to be patient and to understand that this is men and this is the way women behave when it comes to communication. Another thing we want to talk about is misunderstanding and misconception. This is very common in every relationship that we have today. Misunderstanding. Maybe this person, the way they talk, whatever is it that they have just said, you misunderstand and take it in a different way, or you interpret it in a very different way. What are some of the things that maybe your spouse has said, and you end up building a mountain of issues or conflict just because he said something and you felt that you are offended just because of what they said? However, did you take your time and inquire with them? Did you clarify and find out what is it that they mean when they say this? And that's why I say it's always important. When someone says something and you just get annoyed, you are there angered and you feel so bad about him, but the other person, all about her, the other person is very okay, they feel they said nothing to offend you, then you should go back and talk about it and try to understand, what did you mean when you said this? That's all about asking for clarification. And when you clarify with the person what is it that they meant, then they'll be able to explain to you, this is what I meant, this is what I did. When I say this is what had come to my mind, and that's why I said it. And as a result, you'll be able to get to the same level, in the same ground, and understand each other. Another thing is misconception. Many at the time that we imagine of things, and I have seen this happen especially to those people who are in a relationship and those people who are dating. The reason as to why they find it a challenge is because assuming you're dating this person and you're in a relationship, maybe they are, of course, they were in a relationship earlier on, maybe, and it didn't work out well. And all of a sudden, as you continue, and maybe you're there planning for a wedding or planning to get married together, and something just happened, and this person sent a message. And when you get this message and on a call, and maybe the person feel like they still need to find out how is so and so doing, or they need to understand, are they still married? Have they move on? Or you never know at what point they left each other. And so as a result, you tend to develop this kind of imagination. At that point in time, this person need to understand what is it that you are up to. What is it? That's why it's always misconception. Don't take something and just hold it onto it and be there. You're mad, you're angry at each other. You don't want to hear what is it that the other person has said. Get to understand. Okay, fine. This person is trying to communicate to you. What is it that they are trying to say? This person is sending you messages, always calling you. Is there anything that you are still have not ironed out yet? Is there anything that you are still left and you still want to talk about? Or and then the person comes to you and tells you that, no, actually, I don't know why they are calling me. I don't know why they are sending message. Maybe they just had out, they're just about to get married and they want to mess things up. But the other person is there, bitter, angry about this person who is sending messages, and they're imagining things you cannot think of. So it's always important just take your time, inquire and find out what is happening instead of just being mad at a person, yet there is nothing that is happening. The other thing I would like to say is unresolved conflict. When you have unresolved conflict, that is conflict that has been happening, that has been there. We pile up things, we build up issues, and by not solving this conflict that has happened in the past, then we set ourselves up for failure. The reason as why I say that is because every conflict that happens should be solved immediately. People should sit down, talk about it, see where the problem is, and solve the problem in order to have effective communication. When people are in bitterness, when they are angry at each other, when they are not happy at whatever is happening, there are many things that come about with it. The body language, the tone. When someone talks to you, feel like the tone is not the right one. And at that point in time, you feel offended, you feel that this person is not talking appropriately, and you feel like you're not able to open up and share out with him. So at this point in time, what are you supposed to do? Solve the conflict that is there at hand. And after solving that conflict, then you ensure that communication is good and you're able to communicate with each other very well. Another thing is culture. When you're getting married to someone from a different culture, it can really be interesting because this person has been brought up in a different way. Their beliefs, their values, the way they talk is quite different. And some culture or people from different background talk differently. Maybe the way they have been brought up, they talk like they are shouting. And where you come from, you talk quietly, if I would say. You talk nicely, and these people, they talk out loud, they shout, and so every time they talk to you, you feel like they are shouting at you, and you feel so bad. So it's always good to understand their culture. How do these people talk? How do they behave? What are some of the things that they do? And whenever you get married to someone who's coming from a different culture, even the way of doing things, you need to understand it because it can also alter or affect the way you communicate, the two of you. For instance, there's something that my dad-in-law keep on saying that it makes me laugh. It's quite interesting. And he says, if you get married to someone, and this person, every morning they wake up, they cue and shout, you're not an exception. You'll be expected to do that. And some of you may say, no, I cannot do that. But one thing you need to know that when you get married to a person, you either, some of the things that are so dear to them, you either compromise. At times you may say that, I don't want to do that, I can't do that. But you know what will happen if it's something that they hold dear to? then you'll be there and there are always be issues and you're just setting up for conflict. So it's either you do it if it's something that they love and they feel you must do it, then you have to wake up and shout. And if this is not what you feel that you want, then you need to be ready and get to learn whatever is it that the other person hold dear to, or the culture they're coming from, get to understand. We don't be able to compromise onto a number of things when I get married to this person. Out of that, then you assess, then you get to know, I'm getting married to this person, and this is the way we'll be communicating. I'm okay with him shouting, despite the fact that in our family or where I come from, this is how we talk. It's no issue. The fact is, just get to know and get to understand so that you can always be able to communicate and communicate effectively. Finally, we are going to talk about the length of marriage. Every time when people get married and when they are young in marriage, they tend to have difficulties and issues because remember, this person, you just met them, you got married to them, and you don't know each other. And you've been brought up from different backgrounds, and everyone has their way of doing things. And so as a result, you find that you are straining to communicate with each other because there are quite a number of things that are so different between the two of you. That's why it's always important to get to understand the person. With time, maybe you get to know, my husband is a quiet one. They never like to talk before people. My wife is a quiet one. My wife is a talkative one. Out of this, you'll be able to understand the person. With time, for those who are maybe married for months, 4 years, for a year, it depends. If you're married for a few years, maybe for 1 or 2 years, it can really be challenging because you have to learn to get to understand the person and get to know them better. Some of the things that are maybe bothering you when you are 6 months old in marriage, 1 month old in marriage, 1 year old in marriage, 2 year old in marriage, by the time you're 10 years of marriage or you're 5 years of marriage, some of these will not be an issue to you. And out of that, communication will go on and will improve because one thing you'll have learned that this is the way my husband is or my wife is, and it will not bother you. The way they talk, the way they behave, the things they do, and you'll definitely have communication breakthrough with time. All the best. Thank you so much for watching. Next, we'll be looking at some of the things that we can do in order to improve communication or to have effective communication in our relationship or in marriage. Thank you. Bye.